We're going to go ahead and get started with our 2022 Everyday Heroes Awards Banquet. As y'all know, I'm Susan Russell, Executive Director for Keep Louisiana Beautiful. Over the last 2 days, we have spent time together sharing and learning and networking with each other. We've had folks from 9 different states, 34 parishes, 8 state agencies, 54 local governments, 12 universities, and 95 organizations and businesses. It's the largest gathering, and it just shows our commitment for wanting to clean up Louisiana. Thank you so much for taking time in your busy day to be here. We appreciate it. Yesterday, I spent some time highlighting the work that Keep Louisiana Beautiful does, as well as our partners and our network and our collective impact. And as proud as I am of this work, and I am very proud, we all know that we have much more that needs to be done. We've been working for years to bring the needed attention, accountability, and funding to the litter problem in Louisiana. As I stand here today, I will tell you that I have never been more hopeful. Last year was a remarkable year. It was the first time that our Louisiana governor and lieutenant governor stood in unity to declare cleaning up Louisiana a priority. That's leadership that we haven't had, and we thank you. With litter abatement efforts now in the Office of Cultural Recreation and Tourism, the Lieutenant Governor has been one of our biggest ambassadors. We thank him and his entire staff for the work that they do, not just for our organization, but for your local communities. And although he is not able to be with us today, I know y'all join me in in giving him recognition and appreciation. And then in January, Governor Edwards, by executive order, created the Litter Abatement and Beautification Task Force that we learned so much more about over the last 2 days. Thank you, Governor, for taking this step and addressing the litter problem in a comprehensive way. And to help implement some of those recommendations, this year the state legislature allocated $3.5 million to the state budget for litter abatement. We want to thank the governor, Lieutenant Governor Mark Cooper, Commissioner Darden for advocating and supporting us in this much needed effort. Thank you. We are so appreciative of all of our leaders and our partners. And speaking of appreciation, we have an awards banquet to get to. So let's go ahead and get started.
Thank all of you for being here. I am excited to join you. And keeping Louisiana beautiful is so very important. That's why you're here. And it's not just so that we can enjoy the aesthetics of our state, although that is incredibly important, being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us. But it affects quality of life, it affects investment, how many tourists we get, and all of that. And it's just so important. And if you're like me, sometime around a year ago, as you were driving around Louisiana, you realized we had a real problem. And it was just getting worse and worse. And I don't know what to attribute that to, but I do know to whom to attribute the effort that is underway right now to rectify that situation. And that's those people in this room. So I want to start this address by thanking you on behalf of all of the people of the state of Louisiana for your work to keep Louisiana beautiful. Litter affects all of us across the state. As you know, everybody has a role to play. Just before I came over, I entertained the 3rd grade of Our Lady of Mercy Catholic School here in Baton Rouge. And I made sure they knew where I was coming and what the topic would be, and that they had a role to play. Not just in making sure that they discard their trash in a receptacle and so forth, but if they see it on the sidewalk, in the yard, You know, that was one of the things that I always appreciated about the Army. You weren't in trouble just because you might have thrown some litter down. The first time you walked past them without picking it up, you had to answer for that. And if we could get anywhere close to that in the state of Louisiana, we would be so much better off. As y'all know, this is one of those rare bipartisan issues that brings people together. Lots of different ideas on how to fix it, but we are all centered on a common goal. I have the great pleasure of traveling across our state often, every corner of it, rural, urban, the northern part of our state, the southern part of our state, the central part, along the coast, and I can tell you all are impacted by litter. And in talking with the folks in my administration, such as Chief of Staff Mark Cooper, Commissioner of Administration Jay Darden, DEQ Secretary Chuck Carr-Brown, DOTD Secretary Sean Wilson, and Wildlife and Fisheries Secretary Jack Monasse, we realized that there was a lot that we needed to do. And I also met several times and spoke with Lieutenant Governor Billy Lungesser to make sure that together we could lead an effort and bring together people, other agency heads, organizations like Keep Louisiana Beautiful, obviously very ably led by Susan Russell. And Susan, I appreciate your leadership on this issue as well. And that's why we created the task force, the Governor's Task Force on Statewide Litter Abatement and Beautification in January. And quite frankly, I am very pleased with the amount of progress that we've had since January. This is not, however, a mission accomplished moment. And this is one of those challenges. There will never, ever, ever be a mission accomplished moment, because as soon as we think we've done all we need to do, the problem is going to mushroom again. And so we just need to steel ourselves for that and be prepared that this is an ongoing effort. And we need to challenge the next generation of Louisianans to pick up the baton and to continue the efforts. But the Keep Louisiana Beautiful organization, along with the Lieutenant Governor's office, all of you have been working very hard to develop recommendations for tackling litter in Louisiana, created a report with 8 specific recommendations ranging from raising public awareness to strengthening illegal dumping enforcement efforts to improving waste disposal practices and recycling opportunities. And I will tell you, and I did just a minute ago, we're already seeing some positive results when I travel the state. Now, I still see too much litter. And for some reason, a significant portion of our state has just, I think, become conditioned to accept it. They're probably conditioned to contribute to the problem, so we still have a ways to go. One of the things, before I forget to mention it, I think we can all be very thankful that this year, unlike several years past, we are not trying to recover from a hurricane. And those hurricanes, as you know, I also asked those third graders a while ago to make sure when they prayed that they prayed prayers of thanksgiving for that. But those hurricanes themselves, the winds, the waters, they actually move things where they don't belong, whether it's furniture, automobiles, boats, all sorts of stuff just gets washed all across southern Louisiana. Then a big cleanup effort happens. People put stuff in their truck to go to the landfill. They're not securing the things that are in the trucks and on the trailers, and it blows off all the way there. And that's why, if you ever notice, the very worst litter problems in our state are in close proximity and on the main roads headed towards a landfill. Well, that's where we ought to start with our enforcement efforts, by the way. And I'm sure that's something you all talked about, Susan. But at least we're not dealing with that this year. And so we really get a chance to keep this momentum up in making improvements without the setback that is visited upon us by a natural disaster like a hurricane. Now y'all know we're still in hurricane season, right? So I'm going to knock on wood a little bit here. And speaking of seeing progress, you know, we kicked off this back in January with a trip out to the Bird Museum and Garden. And the site that we had there was just one of the worst I've ever seen, with an accumulation of trash. Soda bottles, beer cans, styrofoam containers, you name it, had accumulated for decades and just kind of piled up there. And we went back after the first phase of the cleanup to point out the 8 recommendations of the task force and the work that had been done, but the work that had been done right there at that site. And and y'all know that was just the first phase. I'm happy to tell you today the second phase will start on December the 12th and should be complete before the end of the year. Because it's important that we see concrete, tangible signs of improvement, especially where the problem is the worst. So at that site, decades of trash finally gone, and more to be removed as well. And when you see the difference, I think it validates what we're doing. Because, like I said, people have been conditioned, I think, too many, to kind of just accept that there's going to be litter on the ground and in our creeks and in our ditches and so forth. We should be conditioned the opposite way, and that when we see it, we say that's unacceptable. And that's what this task force is all about. There are also efforts being taken in the legislature. This year I signed Act 228, which will allow political subdivisions to fund stormwater management. It gives them an option to declare stormwater a utility and establish a fee for permanent funding, both to support programs dealing with flood prevention, but also litter abatement. And this is something I see all the time. It's raining now. I don't know how much rain we're going to get. But living in the governor's mansion overlooking Capitol Lake, I don't know if you know this, but much of Baton Rouge drains into Capitol Lake. And so every time it rains, that water comes down the streets and through the gutters and through side ditches and so forth, and it just sends more trash than you can imagine into the Capitol Lake there. Now we have a device that's been put there, and it's helping. It's a litter getter. I'm not sure. Is that what we call it? Trash trap. But it has to be serviced, and obviously you have to remove the stuff as it accumulates so that it can continue to work. But I see that every time it rains, and we're seeing it right there at the state capitol. And so if we have a bad litter problem at the state capitol, you know it is everywhere in the state of Louisiana. So that's one of the things that we're going to allow local government to do, is better take control of that situation should they choose to. And this is a best practice that is being implemented around the country. We didn't come up with this on our own, but we're not too proud to borrow good ideas from other states. So litter is a blight on our communities. It is a health hazard to people, to pets, to wildlife, and the environment. Right now, we're putting a lot of resources and effort into fighting climate change and restoring our coast. And in fact, when I leave here, I'm going to go back to the Capitol and make a very, very positive announcement about a multi-billion-dollar effort to remove carbon dioxide that is currently being emitted into the atmosphere. And so it all kind of works together as we clean up our environment and really are, be good stewards for this earth that has been entrusted to us. But we can't be, well, thank you. But the truth is, we can't proclaim to be advocates for our environment if we are not addressing our litter problem. The two go hand in hand. And while we made a lot of progress, this problem will not be fixed overnight. There will never come a time when we will say mission accomplished, but every single day we have to make progress. And one of the most important things that we can do if we want to make lasting change and make this an easier problem to deal with in the future is change the culture in our state, especially among our young people. And so getting into our schools, getting into our churches and other places of worship, making sure we're taking every opportunity to show them the problems associated with litter and the role that they have in cleaning that up and changing that culture so that they will not only do better, but they will raise children who do better. Those are among the most important things that we can do. So whether you are one person, a corporation, a nonprofit, whether you run local government, whether you work in state government, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you do, it takes all of us to keep Louisiana clean and beautiful. And that's why I'm so pleased to be over here today with all of you to recognize heroes who are making it possible, who are modeling the behavior that we want to see across the board in our state. So these heroes are more than doing their part. And I'll continue to work hard to make sure that we are partnering with you all and doing our part as well. So thank you all. Keep up the good work, and God bless.
I just want everyone to know, if you don't know that already, we are so blessed in the state. And I know this from talking or learning more about litter than I want to and talking to other chiefs of staff, but having Susan as our executive director and at the helm, even before all this attention we've gotten here recently. So Susan, I want to applaud you and thank you for the leadership that you provided. And the governor talked about a culture that we need to create with our youth, and this first award exhibits that. And our first award is the Youth Leadership Award. This award recognizes a student or youth group that embraces environmental stewardship, engages and influences their peers, and contributes to the positive behavior supportive of a clean and beautiful community. The 2022 recipient of this award, and if she could come up and join us, is Gabriella Gonzalez. Gabrielle? She is a senior at Zachary High School and co-president of the Zachary High Beta Club. I've got a long list to read here, and Governor, I know you're not running for re-election, but you'd have somebody tough when she turns old enough to run. I've got a long list here of stuff I need to say. Over the last few years, Ms. Gonzalez saw the negative impacts of litter on the community and felt inspired after seeing advertisements for Keep Louisiana Beautiful, Love the Boot Week with the Beta Club and volunteers. She has led local cleanups as part of the governor's fourth Saturday Cleanup Pledge program. The cleanups continue to have a positive response as many businesses, parents, students, and other residents have reached out to the city and the Beta Club to volunteer. She's also developing an anti-litter program as president of Zachary High School Student Government Association with help from Zachary High's Future Farmers of America Club. So let's give Gabriella another round of applause. Thank you very much.
Governor, Susan, it's certainly a pleasure and a great honor for me to be here today to be a part of this awards ceremony. I can't think of anyone more deserving of this next award. This award recognizes law enforcement officers, including justices of the peace, constables, judges, and code enforcement officers who successfully enforce state, parish, or city litter and illegal dumping laws. And the Litter Enforcement Everyday Hero Award goes to Corporal Jason Stagg. Corporal Stagg is a 17-year veteran with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Enforcement and has dedicated himself to fighting litter through enforcement and education. With the support of his fellow agents, he has implemented a camera program with 25 cameras in 5 parishes that are having serious problems with litter for LDWF that has been extremely successful since its inception in 2016. The cameras have resulted in 319 citations for littering, which would have gone unsolved without the proper setup and management. Corporal Stagg successfully passed a bill this year, HB 69, which is now Act 101, that gives an inference for license plates when you cannot identify the driver. To help pass the legislation, Corporal Stack created a video of litterers captured on camera and testified at the House and Senate committees. With the help of his testimony and the video, the bill passed without opposition in the House and the Senate. Leading the state in litter citations, Corporal Stagg's efforts were recognized this year with the LDWF Enforcement Division's Top Litter Award. It is certainly a privilege for me to recognize one of our very own, Corporal Jason Stagg.
Well, it's a real pleasure to be here to present this very special award to a very special group. This is the Most Innovative Program Award, and that group is the Louisiana Stormwater Coalition. This award recognizes a successful beautification, litter prevention, recycling, or waste reduction program led by a school, civic group, nonprofit, or KLB affiliate. The Louisiana Stormwater Coalition was formed to spearhead an all-volunteer grassroots effort designed to increasing public awareness concerning the benefits of stormwater management systems. Employing a two-pronged attack, they've taken on the challenge of minimizing litter in Louisiana's streets and watersheds by emphasizing litter enforcement and awareness, capital improvements, and technological innovations in the deployment of cutting-edge trash trap systems. Deriving directly from their achievements, HB 713 was signed into law by Governor Edwards in June of 2022, and you heard the governor speak of this. It officially declares stormwater a utility. This legislation was passed in its first attempt, and any of you know anything about the legislature, a program like this, it's hard to get done the first time it's presented, but it got passed the first time they took a crack at it. It gives municipalities a local option to create and permanently fund stormwater management programs. It empowers these communities to effectively solve their litter and flooding problems in the long term. Baton Rouge just recently passed an ordinance making stormwater a utility, so the law is working already. Hopefully others will follow. Louisiana Stormwater's work in the last 2 years has directly resulted in less flooding, less litter, economic development, jobs, and a safer and healthier environment throughout the state. Accepting the award on behalf of the coalition are the founders and the folks who really did the heavy lifting. Unfortunately, Marie Constantine could not be with us today. Many of you know her work in many different facets of litter, but with us are Dr. Jeff Keeney, Kelly Sword Hurtado, and Renee DeWitt Verma, the founders of Louisiana Stormwater Coalition.
It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you. It's an incredible honor, and I'm happy to recognize a Keep Louisiana Beautiful affiliate with the 2022 Outstanding Affiliate Award. This award recognizes a KLB affiliate organization that displays fortitude, what an amazing word, fortitude and leadership while engaging stakeholders, businesses, and citizens in actively improving the appearance of their community. This year's recipient is Keep Bossier Beautiful. Keep Bossier Beautiful, led by Executive Director Lynn Bryan and an advisory board, has made major headway in recent years with 3 new reoccurring KBB programs, including the Environmental Aware Student Seminar for students enrolled in grades 5 through 8 to earn one of 3 KBB patches with the completion of a 4-hour training seminar and a service project. What a great way to get those kids engaged. The Pop-Up Cleanup, a program to empower any resident to host a cleanup. KBB provides online registration, supplies, and recognizes volunteers on our social media platforms. And then the Business Beautification Award. Each season, a local business that does an outstanding job to care for the exterior of their business is awarded a $50 gift card, a yard sign to show their customers they care, and their business photo published in the Bossier Press Tribune. Partnering with the Sheriff's Department to bring the recycling to corrections facilities as well. KAB also hosted its first e-waste ever event. And accepting this award on behalf of Keep Bossier Beautiful is Executive Director Lynn Bryan. Lynn, please come up.
Affiliates are the backbone of Keep Louisiana Beautiful, working each day to fight litter, reduce waste, and improve our communities. I'm excited to present the 2022 Outstanding Affiliate Award. This award recognizes a Keep Louisiana Beautiful affiliate director who demonstrates exceptional dedication to Keep Louisiana Beautiful's mission. The individual displays leadership in building strong and sustainable organizations. The 2022 recipient is Ginger Tostate, Executive Director of Keep Tangipahoa Parish Beautiful. She is the longtime coordinator for Tangipahoa's Parish Litter Prevention Project. Whether she's organizing a Saturday morning cleanup, taking school children on educational tours of the parish landfill, or simply walking around neighborhoods picking up trash, she is ever mindful of the mission to make Tangipahoa Parish shine. Her leadership style is one of gentle mentorship, and as a result, she's making tremendous strides and progress in changing attitudes and behaviors that lead to littering. She has taken the litter abatement educational program to a higher level. She is in private and public schools using Keep Louisiana Beautiful's education lessons plans to teach elementary students the importance of caring for their community by litter prevention and recycling. She is breaking the cycle of neglect by teaching our young people who share what they learn with their parents and other adults in their lives. She has taught over 1,000 elementary students to participate in Roxy's Toolbox and continues to expand that program. Ginger, no, I'm not.
Good afternoon, all. We've heard a lot of common themes, one being children and starting early. So I like to believe that litter abatement is a learned behavior. I use the example all the time of my youngest child being in her mid-20s. She came home from the hospital in a car seat, never been in a car without a seat belt. So it's a learned behavior that we need to apply that same model to litter abatement, because it is going to take all of us, as the governor says. So thank you for having me here today to present the Corporate Leadership Award. This award recognizes a business that demonstrates a consistent dedication to KLB's mission, environmental stewardship, and community engagement. The New Orleans Ernest N. Morial Convention Center is the 2022 recipient of the Corporate Leadership Award. The Convention Center is known for regularly hosting high-profile national conferences, trade shows, sporting events, as well as local events such as charity galas and carnival balls. But what you might not know is that they are leading the way in sustainability practices, waste reduction, and recycling. In 2021, they completed their first ever event waste audit in pursuit of a leadership in energy and environmental design certification. The audit results identified opportunities for improving composting, reducing contamination, improving diversion rates, revamping and recycling signages, and changes to purchasing policies. The results were shared with the public in 2 presentations, Life Cities Talking Trash, TED Talk, and Keep Louisiana Beautiful webinar. With the knowledge learned from the audit, the Convention Center improved the facility's recycling waste reduction programs, doubling the footprint of attendee recycling, adding in plastics, and increasing pallet and cardboard recycling. They also piloted composting in public spaces and exhibit halls, and will launch an event attendee compost this year. Completed projects include 87 new bottle refilling stations that will reduce plastic use, restroom upgrades and water reduction, and a new pedestrian park with 200 trees, rain gardens, and outdoor space. Accepting the award on behalf of the New Orleans Ernest N. Morial Convention Center is Linda Badum, Director of Sustainability and Corporate Social Responsibility. Linda? and a few other guests. And she did remind me that they did receive an Environmental Leadership Award from us, from LDEQ. Same guy. Second one. This is election.
Oh, it's backwards.
All right, makes sense.
Okay, we got it.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here to present what is known as the Golden Can Award, but it's really a nice plaque. This award recognizes a public servant who displays a deep commitment to keep Louisiana Beautiful's mission in their daily work by going above and beyond their professional and paid call of duty. The recipient of the 2022 Golden Can Award is none other than Oscar D. Howard, Jr. All right, congratulations. Oscar is the Assistant Director of Public Works in the center of Louisiana, the city of Alexandria. And in this role, he assists the Interim Director of Public Works with planning and prioritizing the public works maintenance and construction projects, including assessing operational challenges. Oscar's been employed by the city of Alexandria for 16 years, and he was born and raised in Alexandria. He's exceeded expectations and fully embraced the city's participation in the annual Cleanest City competition, working year-round to encourage and document cleanup efforts throughout the city. He also played a key role in developing the city's new Adopt a Street program. This program encourages groups to adopt half-mile sections, and we've got 15,000 more miles you can adopt, of streets throughout the city's 5 city council districts. The city provides cleanup kits, which include garbage bags, safety equipment to the volunteers, along with garbage bag pickup. It's safe to say that Howard has a passion for improving his community and has become the face of the city's efforts to clean up and beautify Alexandria and all of Louisiana. Congratulations, Oscar.
And I would just like to take the opportunity as board chairman to say thank you, Governor Edwards, for being here today. What an honor and a real privilege to have him here at our awards luncheon. And also to this room. Do you know how many people are in this room? Susan, how long has it been since we've had this many people in a room together? So please, everybody, that deserves a round of applause. It is my pleasure to announce a new award for Keep Louisiana Beautiful. So that's always exciting and even more special because it ties to a theme that we've been living over the past several months and over the past year. The Let Louisiana Shine Award is a new award named in honor of the Let Louisiana Shine litter prevention campaign spearheaded by Keep Louisiana Beautiful and the Office of the Lieutenant Governor. This award recognizes volunteers doing their part to let Louisiana shine through efforts to combat litter and keep our state beautiful. The 2022 recipient is Keep Tigertown Beautiful. We have some fans in the audience. Led by local realtor and volunteer extraordinaire Jennifer Richardson, Keep Tigertown Beautiful started as one person determined to do something about the litter problem in Baton Rouge. Jennifer began simply by posting every day on Facebook where she would be picking up litter and inviting others to join her. It has now grown into a movement of litter warriors of 3,800 members strong. I know, right? During Love the Boot Week, 100 volunteers covered over 8 miles, filling 133 bags with litter. Since its inception, the group has filled over 5,000 bags with litter, placed and maintained 72 public trash cans, and raised awareness on the issue of litter in Baton Rouge. Keep Tigertown Beautiful continues to grow its impact as a grassroots, citizen-funded organization, and they are in the process of becoming a 501c3 nonprofit. People see them on the road and stop to hand them boxes of trash bags, shovels, and rakes. They honk their horns and wave, thanking them for their help. Accepting the Let Louisiana Shine Award on behalf of Keep Tigertown Beautiful is the group's founder, Jennifer Richardson.
Thank you. You're very kind. You're very kind.
The Alice Foster Award is named in honor of Louisiana's former First Lady, Alice Foster. The First Lady was a staunch advocate for a clean Louisiana. In fact, she was one of the founding members of this organization. The Alice Foster Award is the highest award that we bestow on an individual each year for their extraordinary leadership to move the mission forward. The 2022 Alice Foster Award goes to Jane Boudreau. I've had the great honor of knowing and working with Jane over the 8 years when she served as the director of Keep Assumption Beautiful. As a mother of 6 children and a retired school nurse for the Head Start program, her legacy is rooted in her desire to make her community a healthy, safe, and clean place, not only for her children, but for the generations to follow. What started 20 years ago in efforts to defeat a proposed landfill evolved into her becoming one of the founding members of Keep Assumption Beautiful. She served as that director for 12 years, and for 12 years, she didn't receive 1 penny. She volunteered for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and with 6 children, I'm sure she didn't have much time to spare. But she made the time because it was important to her. Her strength was in her ability to identify a problem, to develop a solution, and to convince others to buy into her vision. Her friend and co-director, Alice Gilmore, told me that when Jane put her mind to something, there was no stopping her until it got done, and it always got done. Assumption Parish benefited in so many ways from her passion and her determination. Jane was instrumental in securing funding for programs and resources for the area. She established and maintained 3 beautification gardens. She organized countless litter cleanups and installed no litter signs at the boat launches and at the entryways to the parish. She launched a plastic straw-free campaign at local restaurants, and from what I understand, they needed a little bit of convincing at first. And whether they decided to participate because she convinced them that plastic straws were adding to our plastic pollution problem, and it was the right thing to do, or because they realized that she was never going to take no for an answer, so they might as well just go ahead and participate. One of her greatest passions was teaching young people to care for the environment and care for their community. Jane was often seen in the high schools working on litter prevention and recycling programs. In early 2021, Cabell and I drove to Assumption Parish, and we had a wonderful lunch with Alice and with Jane and with Jane's husband, Arthur. It was nothing too extraordinary. We just shared laughter and stories and a big hug before we left. Jane was so very happy. And little did we know that just a few months later that Jane would suffer a stroke. And that stroke has taken away many of her abilities, but it will never take away the mark that she has made on Assumption Parish and on all of our hearts. Jane embodies our mission, and we are grateful to her and for her decades of service to Louisiana. We are thrilled that Jane and her family could be with us today. I'd like to welcome Jane's husband, Arthur, and her son, Cherie, up to say a few words.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would like to first thank the ladies who initiated the application for Jane for this award, Miss Martha Newchurch and Alice Gilmore, and also to mention that without them and their hard work, Keep Assumption Beautiful probably would not have succeeded. Also here today is my sister-in-law, Gail, who is a founding member of the KAB board. We're grateful also to Miss Sarah Truxillo, who's here with us today, and Christy Gode for taking the lead in sustaining Jane's role in the leadership role of Keeping Assumption Beautiful. And for all of those who have stepped up and volunteered their time and to maintain the flower beds, a few of them, at the parks in our community. I'd like to also thank Keep Louisiana Beautiful staff for their support and assistance to Jane, Ms. Calvin, and Susan as well, while she was president. As Susan stated, this all started quite some years ago, like over 20 years ago, when there was a proposed landfill for our parish, and it sparked Jane's interest in the beautification projects and stuff, and anyway, for a passion for a cleaner and healthier environment for our community. She recycled, educated others, and stood up for her beliefs to make sure Assumption Parish stayed the picturesque parish that it is. It was then that her love for roses was planted all over the parish, and our beautification projects took off. She continued on to the state level to make impacts there as well. Anyone who knows Jane understands that she is an intense and passionate woman. I'm her husband, I know. That drive allowed her to do powerful things to impact the lives of others. And we are appreciative of all of you who saw that in her and have honored her for her hard work. Many thanks go out to all of Jane's family. Some are here today, friends, caregivers, and staff of KLB and KEB, as well as the community members who have shown so much appreciation and compassion for her as she battles this illness with her tremendous faith. So thank you, and God bless you all. Appreciate it.
Well, I want to thank all these people for the tremendous work that they're doing all across the state of Louisiana to keep Louisiana beautiful. And under direction, Keep Louisiana Beautiful is under direction of Susan Russell. She's doing a great job. It's housed in Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser's office. But we all came together at the very beginning of this year to acknowledge what was a tremendous problem and still is a problem. I think we're making progress every single day on litter. Raising awareness, making sure we're doing better enforcement, and reaching out and getting partners all across the state of Louisiana, private sector, nonprofits, and so forth, to really take an interest in this, because it affects quality of life, it affects adversely investment in our state, tourism, and so forth. But this is a sportsman's paradise, and we want to make sure that we're good stewards of it, and litter is incompatible with that. And so that's the message. I'm here to thank them for the work. Encourage them, because we have a long way to go, and I want to encourage everybody who might be seeing this to do their part. Please make sure that you're putting trash where it belongs, and don't hesitate to pick up trash that you may see, even though if you didn't put it there. It doesn't belong on the ground, doesn't belong on the streets, and so forth. Let's pick it up and put it where it belongs, so that we can all have a prettier place to call home.